I stood there in the soft glow of the string lights on our patio, my engagement ring catching the last rays of the summer sunset, and felt a chill run down my spine that had nothing to do with the evening breeze. 5 years after I'd clawed my way out of a marriage that nearly broke me, I was finally whole again, engaged to a man who saw me, truly saw me. But then the letter came, that thin envelope from the county clerk's office, stamped with official red ink. It said, in plain black letters, marriage record still active. My ex-husband, the man I'd buried in my past, had never filed the divorce papers. I was still his wife, legally bound. And he'd done it on purpose. It hit me like the smell of rain on dry earth, sudden, heavy, soaking through everything I'd built. My hands trembled as I clutched the paper, the kind that crinkles just so under your fingers, and I whispered to myself, how? After all this time. Mark, my fiancé, was inside humming while he grilled the chicken, oblivious, the savory smoke drifting out to mix with the jasmine from the pots I'd planted myself. But in that moment, staring at those words, I felt the ground shift beneath me, like the whole world I'd rebuilt was just a house of cards waiting for one breath to topple it. Let me take you back, because to understand the knife twist of that discovery, you have to know the quiet life I'd pieced together afterward. It wasn't dramatic, no grand escapes or movie-like reinventions. Just me, Sarah, 42 now, starting over in a cozy 2-bedroom rental on the edge of town, the kind with creaky wooden floors that sigh under your feet and windows that let in the morning light just right. After the divorce, or what I thought was the divorce, 5 years ago, I moved back to this little suburb outside Atlanta, away from the big house in the city that held too many echoes. The judge had signed the papers in a quick hearing. I'd sat there in my gray wool skirt, smelling the stale coffee from the courthouse vending machine, nodding as the gavel came down. Robert, my ex, hadn't even shown up. His lawyer said he was out of town, but I didn't care. I'd spent 20 years married to a man who treated our vows like a convenience store receipt, crumpled and tossed when it suited him. Infidelity, financial lies, the slow erosion of trust until I was hollow inside. Walking out felt like shedding wet clothes after a storm. My days now? Simple, grounding. I'd gotten a job at the local library, shelving books in the cool hush of the stacks, where the air always carried that faint, musty scent of old pages and polished wood. Mornings started with coffee brewed strong in my old percolator, the gurgle filling the kitchen as I sliced apples for breakfast. No kids of our own, Robert never wanted them, said it would complicate things, but I had my routine, my small joys. Evenings, I'd water the herbs on the windowsill, feeling the damp soil cool against my fingertips, listening to the distant hum of neighbors' lawnmowers. And then there was Mark. We met at the library, of all places. He was a widower, 50, with salt and pepper hair and hands that smelled faintly of engine oil from his auto shop downtown. He'd come in looking for a book on restoring vintage cars, brows furrowed over his reading glasses, and when our eyes met over the biography section, it was like breathing fresh air after years underwater. You look like you know your way around a mystery, he'd said, his voice warm, gravelly from years of laughing too loud. I smiled, feeling my cheeks flush, the first time in ages. Our first date was burgers at the diner on Elm Street, the kind with vinyl booths that stick to your legs in summer and waitresses who call you Han. He held my hand across the table, thumb tracing slow circles on my skin, and talked about his late wife without bitterness, just quiet gratitude for the time they'd had. No games, no secrets. After a year, he moved into my place, well, our place now, with his toolbox and that old record player that spins Patsy Cline records on rainy nights. We'd dance in the living room, my head on his shoulder, the needles scratching softly as thunder rolled outside. Family? Mine was scattered but loving. My sister Lena calls every Sunday, her voice tinny over the phone from Florida, always asking if I've eaten enough, sending care packages of her homemade peach jam that smells like summer when you crack the jar. Mom passed a few years back, but her quilt still drapes the couch, soft and faded from years of hugs. Robert's side? Cut off clean. His brother sent a Christmas card once, awkward and brief, but I let it fade. Life felt steady, like the tick of the kitchen clock I'd bought at a flea market, the one with the chipped edge that chimes softly at the hour. I'd even started planning our wedding in my head, small, outdoors, with wildflowers and that recipe for lemon cake Mom used to make, the one that fills the house with citrus tang. Mark proposed last fall, down on one knee in the garage, oil smudged on his cheek, holding up a ring he'd picked simple and true. "Sarah," he said, eyes shining, "you're my reset button." I said yes through tears, the concrete floor cool under my knees as I hugged him. We were happy. Truly. Nights tangled in sheets that smelled of his soap and my lavender lotion, mornings with his coffee mug left steaming on the counter as a quiet "I love you." I'd stare at the ring sometimes, twisting it on my finger, marveling that after Robert's cold dismissals, the way he'd check his phone during dinners, his cologne lingering like a ghost when he came home late, I could trust again. Rebuilt, that's what I called it. Piece by careful piece. But looking back, maybe there were whispers I ignored. Little pauses in the rhythm. Little pauses, like the way Mark's brow would furrow sometimes when we talked about wedding dates, or how my own stomach would twist if a car like Robert's old black sedan passed by on the street. But I pushed them down, told myself they were ghosts from a life I'd left behind. Until that letter arrived, shattering the quiet. It came on a Tuesday, ordinary as the mailman's boots crunching gravel up the driveway. I'd just gotten home from the library, arms full of canvas totes stuffed with returns, those heavy hardcovers that leave red creases on your forearms. The air inside was warm with the scent of the chicken pot pie I'd popped in the oven before work, its crust bubbling golden through the glass door. Mark was out at the shop, due back soon with his usual grease-streaked grin and a kiss that tasted like peppermint gum. I sorted the mail on the kitchen table, though it's scarred from years of family dinners that never happened in this house. Bills, a flyer for the farmer's market, and then that envelope, thin, official-looking, with my name typed precise and the county seal embossed like a warning. No return address beyond, Clerk of Superior Court. My fingers hesitated, nail polish chipped from shelving books, before sliding it open. The paper rustled sharp, like dry leaves. I read it twice, then 3 times, the words blurring as my pulse thudded in my ears. Marriage license, Sarah E. Harlan and Robert T. Harlan. Status, active. No dissolution recorded. Harlan. My old name, attached to me still, like a chain I thought I'd snapped years ago. Filed in 2003, signed by the judge in 2020, but nothing after. No final decree. A sticky note from the clerk clipped to it, inquiry regarding marital status for marriage license application. Please contact if records need correction. Marriage license application. That's when it clicked. Mark and I had gone to the courthouse last month, laughing as we filled out forms for our wedding permit, his hand steady on mine as the clerk stamped them preliminarily. All set, she'd said with a wink. But apparently not. My breath caught, chest tight like I'd run. Uphill. I sank into the chair, the vinyl cushion sighing under me, and stared at the oven timer ticking down 4:32, 4:31, the beep suddenly too loud when it hit 0. Mark pulled in minutes later, truck graveling the drive, radio country twang cutting off as the engine died. "Smells like heaven in here, darlin'," he called, boots thumping the hall. I shoved the letter under a napkin, heart hammering, and forced a smile as he came in, wiping hands on his jeans. He leaned down, lips brushing my temple, his skin warm and faintly metallic. "Rough day at the book jail?" "Just the usual," I murmured, standing to plate the pie, steam rising flaky and hot. We ate at the table, fork scraping china, him talking about a '67 Mustang he was fixing up, proud lilt in his voice, fork pausing midair as he gestured. I nodded, words sticking, the letter burning under the napkin like a coal. What if I told him? Would it unravel us before we even started? That night, tangled in bed, his arm heavy across my waist, I lay awake listening to the crickets outside and the soft rumble of his snores. My mind replayed the divorce day, Robert's absence, his lawyer's curt email, papers signed. He's agreeable. Agreeable. The words soured now. I'd trusted the system, trusted that chapter closed. But why check now? The clerk's note, our wedding application must have triggered some database flag. Still, doubt gnawed. Maybe a clerical error. Papers lost in the shuffle. I twisted the engagement ring, its band suddenly loose on my finger, and whispered into the dark, "It can't be." The next morning, over coffee, his black, mine with a splash of milk swirling pale, I broached it casually. "Hey, remember those courthouse forms? Ever hear back?" He shrugged, sipping, steam curling up. "Nah, probably just processing." "Why?" His eyes met mine, steady blue, no shadow. "Nothing," I said, stirring too fast, spoon clinking. But inside, suspicion bloomed like a bruise, darkening, tender. I started small investigations that week, the kind that feel like scratching an itch you shouldn't touch. At lunch breaks, I'd slip into the library's computer nook, the screens glow harsh on my face amid the whispering patrons. Searched public records online, fingers hovering over keys worn smooth. Our divorce case number pulled up the initial filing, the hearing notice, but no final judgment. Just pending stamped eternal. My throat tightened, the air conditioner humming cold down my neck. Then I called the courthouse, voice pitched neutral as I cradled the library phone against my shoulder, shelving cart idle nearby. "Yes, ma'am. Records show no dissolution filed by either party," the clerk said, her tone bored, keys clacking in the background. "Husband was supposed to submit the signed decree. You can petition to compel, but it'll take time." Husband. The word landed like a slap. I thanked her, hung up, and gripped the cart handle until my knuckles ached white. Robert. Why him? Memories flickered. His meticulous nature, the way he'd balance checkbooks with a furrowed brow, color-coding files in his home office. Not a man for oversights. And that last email from his lawyer, oddly vague. I dug through my inbox that evening, market poker night with buddies, the house quiet save for the fridge's low hum. Found it, divorce finalized per court order. Contact if questions. No attachments. I'd assumed the decree was handled. Suspicion curdled into something sharper. I drove to our old house that Friday after work, not to confront, just to see. Parked down the block, engine off, watching dusk settle. The porch light flicked on, same wrought iron fixture I'd picked out. A car pulled in, his black sedan, sleek and unchanged. He stepped out, tall frame silhouetted, laughing into his phone, voice carrying faint on the breeze. New woman on his arm? No, just him, younger looking somehow, suit crisp. My hands clenched the wheel, leather creaking as a chill sweat. Beaded my forehead despite the open window. He knew. Somewhere deep, I felt it, like the tremor in a voice before tears, the pause before a lie. But doubt clung, paranoia from old wounds? Robert had moved on, dated casually from what mutual friends whispered. Why sabotage me? I drove home slow, streetlights blurring, the radio murmuring love songs that mocked me now. Mark was waiting with takeout Thai, spicy lemongrass scent filling the air, pulling me into a hug. "Missed you," he said simply. I smiled, kissed him back, but as we ate cross-legged on the couch, his laughter warm against my shoulder, the napkin-hidden letter echoed in my mind. Ignore it? Or dig deeper? The clock on the mantel ticked steady, counting breaths I held. The weekend blurred by in a haze of forced normalcy, Mark's hand warm in mine at the farmer's market, the earthy tang of fresh tomatoes masking the rot in my thoughts. But Monday morning, after he left for the shop with a quick forehead kiss that lingered like a promise, I made the call. Not to Robert's old number, too direct. To his lawyer first, the one who'd handled the finalized divorce. Her receptionist put me through quick, voice clipped over hold music that warbled tinny violins. "Mrs. Harlan, Miss Harlan," Elaine said, hesitation cracking her professional polish. Papers shuffled on her end, a drawer sliding shut. "What can I do for you?" I laid it out flat, no accusations, just facts, the letter, the active status, the missing decree. Silence stretched, thick as fog, broken by her sigh. "Oh, Sarah. Robert was supposed to file it. He picked up the signed copy for me the day after the hearing. Said he'd handle the clerk himself. I assumed. The word hung, bitter as oversteeped tea. Can you confirm he got it?" My voice stayed even, fingers tracing the tables would grain, splinter catching my nail. More shuffling then, yes. Receipt in the file. Dated October 15th, 2020. I'm so sorry. I should have followed up. Sorry. Didn't unmake the lie. I thanked her, hung up, and sat there as sunlight slanted across the floorboards, dust motes dancing mockingly slow. Robert had it in his hands and chose not to file. Rage flickered, hot and unfamiliar, but I banked it, needed proof, not explosion. That evening, steeling myself over a glass of wine that tasted sharp on my tongue, I dialed his cell. The one mutual friend had given me years back, just in case. It rang 4 times, each trill echoing in my chest like a countdown. Sarah. His voice, smooth as ever, no surprise, just that measured baritone, like we'd spoken yesterday over breakfast. Background noise, clink of glasses, low laughter, a restaurant hum. This is unexpected. We need to talk. Mine came out steady, surprising me. The divorce papers. You never filed them. Pause. A chair creaked, murmurs fading as he stepped away. What are you on about? It's done. Lawyer said so. Don't. The word snapped, sharper than intended. I gripped the phone, cool plastic biting my palm. Elaine confirmed. You signed for them. Held onto them. Why, Robert? Another beat, then a low chuckle, not cruel, but weary, like explaining to a child. Sit down, Sarah. You're worked up. As if I weren't already, heart thudding against ribs. Fine. Yeah, I have them. Didn't see the rush. Didn't see that I stood, pacing to the window, street lamp buzzing faintly outside. 5 years, Robert. I'm engaged. Planning a wedding. And you let me think. Engaged. The word dripped, not bitter, but pointed. Like he'd tasted it before spitting. To that mechanic? Heard about him. Good for you. Sarcasm lay soft, then hardened. Look, it wasn't malice. Just insurance. Insurance. My laugh came hollow, echoing off kitchen tiles. Against what? Me moving on. Silence again, heavier. When he spoke, his voice dropped, intimate, like confessions in the dark of our old bedroom. You left me high and dry, Sarah. Took half the savings, the house equity, left me rebuilding from scratch. Dated around? Sure. But watching you thrive? Stung. So yeah, I held the papers. Leverage, if you ever came sniffing back for more. Or to block you marrying first. Petty? Maybe. But fair. Fair. The gall twisted like a knife in old scar tissue. I saw it then, his motivation layered, human. Not cartoon villainy, but wounded pride from a man who'd always needed control. The affairs I'd endured? Business stress, he'd called them. The money siphoned to hobbies? Investments. And now this quiet sabotage, papers tucked in a drawer like a forgotten grudge. Deliberate. To keep me tethered, just in case. You had no right. Tears pricked hot, but I blinked them back, tasting salt. Mark proposed. We're happy. And you. Rip it up yourself, he cut in, casual now, silverware clinking as he resumed eating. Petition the court. Costs a couple $100. Done. Like swatting a fly. It's not that simple. You've humiliated me. Lied to everyone. My free hand clenched the curtain, fabric bunching damp. Everyone? Who knows? Challenge edged his tone. Not yet. But the seed was planted. Stay out of my life, Robert. Forever. I hung up, phone clattering to the counter, and sank to the floor, knees to chest, sobs racking silent at first, then raw. The rug scratched my cheek, Mark's work boots by the door mocking with their scuffed toes, evidence of the life waiting to crumble. Betrayal anew, 5 years late. Not just infidelity, but this legal leash, yanked to trip me at the finish line. His insurance, revenge wrapped in paperwork, ensuring I couldn't fully escape while he licked wounds I'd caused by leaving. Mark found me there when he got home, piecing together the letter and my red eyes over his hesitant questions. Still married, I whispered, handing him the envelope, voice cracking like thin ice. He read, jaw tightening slow, then pulled me close, his flannel. Shirt rough against my face, smelling of motor oil and resolve. We'll fix it, he murmured, hand stroking my hair, steady as an anchor. But doubt shadowed his eyes, the proposal ring heavy now, invalid as a bounce check. Shock ebbed to heartbreak, waves crashing, All those rebuilt moments, dances, plans, trust, tainted by ink he never submitted. I confronted Robert in person 2 days later, driving to his office downtown, the sedan gleaming in the lot like a taunt. He met me in the lobby, tie loosened, coffee breath mingling with his cologne, same as always, spicy and invasive. "Sarah," he said, arms open like old times, but I stepped back. "Sign it. Now." I'd printed a new decree form, lawyer approved overnight, $200 well spent. His eyes flicked over it, pen hovering. Or what? Amused almost. Or I tell everyone. Your new girlfriend saw her car at the house. Family. Work. Bluff, half true, but his smile faltered. He signed, flourish sharp, date precise. "You're welcome," he muttered, handing it back. For the reality check. I walked out, papers clutched like a shield, wind whipping my hair as I gulped fresh air. Betrayal confirmed, papers in hand, but the wound gaped, trust shredded anew. The drive home from Robert's office blurred through tears I refused to let fall, the signed papers vibrating in my lap like a live wire. Wind rushed through the cracked window, carrying the faint exhaust tang of rush hour traffic, but inside, my mind churned. Fix this quietly, or expose the rot. Mark waited at home, pacing the kitchen with a beer sweating condensation onto the counter, his face etched with that quiet worry lines carve when words fail. "Tell me everything," he said, pulling out a chair, his calloused hand enveloping mine. I did. Phone call, lawyer slip, Robert smug, insurance, excuse, like lancing a boil, pus, and relief spilling out. He listened, jaw grinding subtle, then nodded once, decisive. "We get this filed. Today. Then we talk lawyer for real this time. No more assumptions." His steadiness anchored me, but sleep evaded that night. I lay tracing the ceiling cracks by moonlight filtering through blinds, Mark's breaths even beside me, while questions clawed. How far did Robert's grudge reach? Mutual friends who'd patted my back at the divorce? His family holidays where he'd toasted moving on? The deception festered, demanding more than a signature. Morning brought action. First, the courthouse, papers stamped final by noon, Clerk's machine whirring approvingly as she slid the dissolution decree across, gold-embossed seal gleaming. "You're free now, hon," she said, patting my hand, her rings cool and heavy. Free. The words settled uneasy. Freedom shouldn't taste like ash. But I needed proof of intent, something to deter future shadows. Back home, laptop open on the dining table amid toast crumbs and coffee rings, I dove deeper. Old emails first. Robert's lawyer's vague closeout, no attachments. Then forums, divorce boards humming with stories like mine, tips on subpoenas. By afternoon, I drafted a certified letter to Elaine, requesting the full file under public records law. For my peace of mind, I wrote, polite steel in the ink. Mark joined after work, toolbox clattering as he set takeout down, fried chicken crisp and greasy, the kind that soaks up stress. "What's next?" he asked, wiping sauce from his chin. Eyes on me, not the food. His why? Leverage. I showed him screenshots I'd pulled Robert's social media, sparse but telling, posts from 2 years back, arm around a new woman, caption, fresh start after the mess. Comments from his sister, proud of you, bro, don't let her take more. Her. Me. The narrative he'd spun. Victim of a greedy ex. My stomach knotted, chicken turning leaden. That fired me up. I called Lena, my sister, voice pitched casual over the lines, faint static. Ever hear from Robert's side? She paused, ice clinking in her glass. Once. His mom called last Christmas, fishing, said Robert was heartbroken still, papers got lost in the move. Thought it was nonsense. Heartbroken. The lie layered thicker. Enough. I needed his files, his words. A private investigator felt too cinematic, too costly, but a PI buddy of Mark's from the shop owed a favor. Old school. Gary said over speakerphone that evening, gravel voice warm. Tell him a week, check trash, public records. $100. Done. Gary's report landed 2 days later, emailed PDF crisp. Dumpster dives yielding shredded bank statements, nothing damning, but jackpot photo of Robert's desk drawer, ajar during a coffee run. Inside, our original decree, clipped to a sticky note in his scrawl, Sarah's leash, don't file till she begs. Leash. The word punched, black ink blurring as fury crested. Mark read over my shoulder, breath hissing out. Bastard. Not explosive, we mapped calm revenge. No flames, no public shaming. Justice, surgical. Step 1, lawyer. A no-nonsense woman named Trish, office smelling of lemon polish and resolve, reviewed it all over herbal tea steaming minty. Malicious interference, she murmured, glasses perched low. Could sue for emotional distress, costs thousands. Or quieter, demand he pay annulment fees, sign affidavit admitting intent. Quieter one. We drafted it that week, certified mail, Trish's letterhead stern, admit withholding dissolution decree to obstruct Ms. Harlan's remarriage, or face litigation for fraud. Robert's reply came fast, his lawyer's letter fumbling defense. Oversight, not intent. But Gary's photo attached flipped it. Silence, then compliance, a notarized affidavit arriving Friday, his signature shaky, admitting personal reservations delayed filing. Reservations. Euphemism for spite. I wasn't done. The public ripple needed a nudge, not vicious, but true. Our old circle, book club friends, library patrons who'd heard my divorce saga. Over coffee with Ellen. My closest, steam rising from mugs, I shared the letter, voice level. Turns out he held the papers. On purpose. Her eyes widened, fork pausing mid-cheesecake. That snake. Wait lie tell. Word spread organic, whispers at church potlucks, texts pinging. Robert's sister called me, awkward, apologetic, heard what he did. Families mortified. Mortified. Good. But the real action brewed inward. Therapy sessions twice weekly, the counselor's office soft with lamp glow and box of tissues I never touched. Anger as teacher, she said, voice like warm gravel. Mark and I rebuilt trust too, counseling for us, his hand squeezing mine through tears as we unpacked fears. Nights, we'd walk the block, gravel crunching underfoot, air thick with night-blooming jasmine, talking futures untainted. One last move, I filed the affidavit with the court, permanent record. Then wrote Robert, a personal letter, pen slow at the kitchen table, candle flickering beeswax sweet. You thought to chain me, but chains break. Live better. Mailed it and signed, closure sealed. Weeks blurred to actions echo, papers filed, life studying. Mark's proposal renewed one evening on the patio, string lights twinkling anew, ring slipping true on my finger. Legally, spiritually mine? His voice trembled faint, peppermint on his breath. Yes, whispered fierce. Yet doubt lingered, a shadow teaching vigilance. I'd acted, not with cruelty, but clarity. Betrayal met boundaries. Boundaries held, but truth has a way of seeping like water under doors, finding cracks you didn't know were there. I hadn't planned the public fallout, didn't post on social media or call a press conference. It spread on whispers, the kind that carry farther than shouts, through the veins of our shared small-town world. It started small, with Ellen at the library the next week. She'd promised discretion over our coffee, but her eyes betrayed her as she shelved romances nearby, voice hushed but urgent to a patron. Can you imagine? Holding divorce papers for years, just to spite her. Heads turned in the stacks, murmurs rising like steam from a kettle. By lunch, coworkers clustered at the break room table, vending machine humming as they leaned in, forks pausing over microwaved leftovers. Sarah, is it true? Asked Carla, the circulation desk girl, her ponytail swinging. I nodded once, calm, handing over the clerk's letter photocopy. Truth hurts, but it's out. Word hit family circuits fast. Lena called that evening, her Florida drawl sharp over speaker, pots clanging as she cooked. His sister reached out to me, can you believe? Apologizing profusely, said Robert's been dodging family dinners since it leaked. Mom's furious, called him every name but a saint. I pictured it, their holiday table in the old family home, turkey scent thick, tension cutting sharper than the carving knife as his mom laid into him, voice rising, fork stabbing air. After what you did to Sarah. Shame on you. Robert's portion untouched, plate pushed aside. His workplace ripple came subtler through Mark's shop network, mechanics swapping stories over oil changes, the air greasy with hydraulic lifts whining. Gary, the PI, texted, Robert's firm? Buzzing. Colleague saw the affidavit in a shared drive. HR flagged it as ethics issue. Robert's job, mid-level accounting at a logistics company, thrived on trust. Now, sidelong glances in meetings, coffee break silences where his jokes fell flat, the boss's door closing a beat too long. No firing, nothing dramatic, but promotion stalled, invitations to client golf outings dried up. Consequence, quiet as a demotion slip. Community stung him deepest. Church potluck that Sunday, our shared Methodist hall, folding tables groaning under casseroles, the air rich with baked beans and lemon bars cooling on racks. I'd gone with Mark, arm looped in his, determined not to hide. Whispers followed as we filled plates. That's her, the one he trapped. His brother-in-law cornered me by the dessert table, paper plates sagging with pie, mustache twitching. Sarah, rough what he pulled. Families divided, wife won't even speak to him now. Robert wasn't there, absent from the pews for the first time in years, his usual spot empty beside his sister, who shot me an apologetic wave, cheeks flushed. Even strangers weighed in. At the grocery store midweek, checkout line chatter from the bagger, a teen with acne and earnest eyes. Heard about your ex on the community Facebook group. Messed up, ma'am. My aunt went through something similar. The post, anonymized but clear, had snowballed. Local man admits withholding divorce papers to block ex-wife's remarriage. Affidavit public record. Likes piled, comments righteous. Karma's coming, what a coward. Robert's phone blew up. I learned later from a mutual friend who texted hesitantly. He's changed his number. Girlfriend left, said trust issues. I felt no glee, just a solemn rightness, like balancing scales after years tipped wrong. Dignity guided me, no gloating replies, no interviews. When his sister called, voice quivering over the line, I listened. He's wrecked, Sarah. Admitted it was pride, thought you'd come crawling back someday. Family gathering blew up. Dad cut him off financially. Pride. His leash had snapped back, whipping him instead. I murmured empathy for her, not him. Healing takes time. Wish you well. Hung up gentle, no salt in the wound. Mark and I navigated our own ripples. Library patrons offered hugs at the desk, hands lingering warm. You're stronger than that. His shop buddies clapped his back harder, beers raised at poker night. Dodged a bullet there, brother, Sarah's gold. Our engagement news spread cleaner now, legal and true. Toasts at the diner with vinyl booths sticking warm. Robert faced me once more, unbidden, a voicemail left at dusk, truck idling outside as I peeked through curtains. Sarah, it's out. Everywhere. Lost friends, respect. Wasn't worth it. Pause, throat clearing wet. Sign whatever you need for closure. I'm filing bankruptcy, house 2. Lesson learned. Click. No apology raw enough, but consequence had humbled him, mirror held his manipulation. He sold the house months later, moving to an apartment across town, sightings rare, a shadow at the gas station, head down. Through it all, I held poise, answering questions with quiet facts. He admitted it in writing. Justice served. No venom, just truth's weight settling dust. The public I shifted from shock to admiration, cards slipped under my door, proud of you, scrawled in loopy script. Empowerment bloomed, not from ruin, but reckoning. Life's rhythm steadied amid the echoes, library shifts ending with Mark's truck beeping welcome, evenings on the patio where string lights glowed untainted now. Betrayal's public price paid, we turned inward, to healing's quieter work. The whispers faded like morning mist under sun, leaving space for mending. Public consequence had righted the scales, but true healing brewed private, in the slow drip of days where I chose grace over grudge. Robert's voicemail lingered on my phone a week, his broken rasp replaying in quiet moments before I deleted it, fingers steady on the screen's cool glass. Not forgiveness gifted free, but release for my sake, like setting down a stone I'd carried too long. Therapy became sanctuary, Twice weekly in Trish's office, no, a new counselor, Elena, with chamomile tea steaming herbal sweet and a rocking chair that creaked gentle under my weight. Betrayal rewires trust, she said one session, pen tapping soft rhythm on her notepad, late sun gilding her glasses. But you reclaimed the narrative. I nodded, unraveling threads, Robert's insurance as his fear masked, my leaving as his unraveling. Not excusing, but understanding layered him human, prideful man clinging to control when life slipped. It softened rage's edges, turning it to wisdom, vigilance without walls. Mark and I dove deeper there too, couple sessions where his hand found mine across the circle of worn armchairs, calluses grounding. Scared me, thinking it could steal us, he admitted once, voice gravel thick, eyes on the carpet's faded pattern. I squeezed back, lavender lotion mingling with his soap. It tested us. We passed. We renewed vows informally that fall patio under string lights, just us and Lena via video, her pixelated smile beaming from Florida as Mark slipped the ring on anew. Legally free, heart always yours, he whispered, lips brushing knuckles, chicken grilling savory in the background like our first deceived dinner reclaimed. Family wove tighter. Lena visited for a weekend, her hug bone-crushing at the airport, peach jam jars clinking in her suitcase. We baked Mom's lemon cake together, kitchen air thick with citrus zest and sugar dust encounters like fresh snow. You rose, sis, she said, frosting knife gliding smooth, tears salting the batter. Robert's family? Distance healed, his sister's occasional texts polite, no bridges burned, just space. My world shrank to true circles, library friends dropping by with wine, bottles chilling sweat beaded, Mark's shop crew for barbecues, laughter booming over ribs sticky with sauce. Work bloomed too. The library director called me in one crisp morning, office smelling of fresh printer ink and ficus leaves. Patrons love your story, resilience inspires. Head of circulation. Promotion papers signed that day, my desk now with a window overlooking the courtyard, sunlight warming shoulders as I planned story hours for kids, their sticky fingers on picture books a reminder of joys unclaimed in my first marriage. Evenings, I'd garden deeper, jasmine climbing the trellis thicker, soil rich under nails, earthworms wriggling free like secrets unearthed. Forgiveness came gradual, not thunderclap. A month post-affidavit, I wrote Robert one final note, not the cold closer before. But layered, pain breeds per choices. I release mine and wish you growth. Mailed it plain, no return address, the post office stamp thudding final. No reply, but peace settled, heavy quilt-like, muffling old echoes. Strength emerged, boundaries firm as the new deadbolt mark installed, clicking satisfying each night. Wedding planning grounded us joyful, small, May affair in the park where we'd first kissed accidentally over books. Invites handwritten on cream stock, wildflower seeds tucked inside, menu simple, lemon cake centerpiece. Lena walked me down the aisle, arm looped warm, veil whispering against grass dewy underfoot. Mark waited, suit crisp, eyes misted as vows exchanged under oak boughs rustling soft. In sickness, health, shadows, and light, I said, ring cool sliding home. Cheers rose, plates clinking later at reception, fireflies blinking like stars fallen low. Life restarted fuller. Mornings, percolator gurgling, Mark's coffee mug steaming beside mine, his kiss lingering coffee bitter. Nights, record player spinning, Patsy Cline's croon wrapping us as we swayed, feet shuffling carpet. No kids, but we mentored, shop apprentices for him, library reading club for me, pouring love wide. Robert sightings? Rare ghost, gas station pump, had bowed over receipts. We nodded once, neutral as strangers, chain severed clean. Looking back, the betrayal taught deepest, divorce not just papers, but souls untangling deliberate. Robert's manipulation, revenge veiled as caution, mirrored his fears, but mine birthed freedom. Moral settles simple, hold your truth gentle, but firm, grudges chain the holder more. Rebuild not despite wounds, but through them stronger mortar. I stand now, 47, ring glinting true, patio jasmine perfuming dusk, as Mark grills, laughter our new normal. Whole, not despite, but because. And so, here I am now, 5 years past that letter's shock, 2 years into a marriage that feels like coming home to myself. The patio lights still glow soft on evenings like this, jasmine heavy in the air, Mark's laughter mixing with the sizzle of the grill. Robert? A faded echo, rebuilding his own quiet way, chains of his own making long broken. Life taught me this. Betrayal's sting fades when you choose truth over tether, strength over spite. Hold your papers close, your heart closer, freedom isn't given. It's claimed, one steady step at a time. If this stirs something in you, a hidden doubt, a grudge weighing heavy, what would you do if your past refused to let go? Would you whisper it quiet, or let truth ripple wide? Share in the comments below. Your story might light someone's path. If my words touched you, hit that subscribe for more real-life confessions over tea time truths. We're in this together. Until next time, hold steady, friends.